Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 28 of the Red Force Podcast. My name is Eric Talato, and joining me today is Christian Talato.
Greetings.
Now, Christian, today, we got a chapter.
We do have a chapter.
What else we got? We got random speculation, how strong is Shanks' power scale.
You know? Just what the show is.
Christian, we've been talking about Wano since this show started.
It sort of started. Now it's here.
And I don't know how many weeks we've been talking about random speculation about said arc. Yeah. But here we are, once again. We're actually in the arc. And I think it's pretty clear we're in the direction we're going. We have a few options, at least. We're not just shooting in the dark anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, alright. I don't think we're any more close to an answer.
We're closer. We have options, at least, of how the first arc's going to play out.
Alright.
What else this week, Christian?
What else this week? Everyone's deep in the conspiracy theories of Chapter 9-12. The 21st anniversary of One Piece. There's some sort of weird, table that Shueisha put out. Where it's like, this equals this equals this. Luffy plus question mark equals 10.
Mm-hmm.
What will be revealed in Chapter 9 or 12? Rabbit speculation. Who the fuck knows?
Christian, what are people saying? Green Bull, the Lucky Legend, anyone. Could be anyone.
Could be anyone.
Could be Amu's face.
You cannot work out this equation because they don't give you all the variables.
Yes.
So it's an impossible equation.
But all the characters are admirals.
That's true.
So
minus Luffy, but yeah.
Yeah. Christian, Dragon Ball Z movie. More details about that came out today. Guess which villain will be the antagonist of this movie, Christian?
Yamcha.
Broly.
What?
Now, a funny statement from Toriyama came out, and he's like, apparently I designed Broly. I didn't know that I designed the character, and I've recently become aware of the character, so I've written him into canon. Thoughts on Toriyama?
Toriyama has no idea what is going on with Dragon Ball. We saw this in the Buu arc.
He's a very old man.
He's very old. He never really cared.
Yeah.
That much.
Yeah.
You could argue.
It was a different age, Christian, where grand schemes weren't really going on.
It was more about the weekly adventure. He just wrote it weekly. I'm
excited to see the teaser that we got. We're in this new age of Toei animation movies. I think Film Gold stepped it up.
Or Film Z, Film Gold, the One Piece
Film Gold specifically stepped it up in the animation department.
You reckon?
To movie quality levels, yes, definitely.
Okay.
Film Z was okay. Film Z was pretty good. But Film Gold started to add Natoshi flares.
Well, Natoshi did the first opening scene.
And there's a few other things that's nice.
Okay.
So I think it's the same team working on the Dragon Ball Z or / Super movie.
Yep.
Via that teaser that we got. Looks very nice. We get to see some martial arts techniques from Goku.
So is Broly completely redesigned? Because we got to see a screenshot of the villain.
He's changed a little bit. He's
it's more Saiyan-like?
He's got he looks like the Saiyan. The teaser was him from his base form.
Yeah.
But he's got scars on his face and shit.
Does he have black hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a redesign.
It's a redesign, but it's not because the poster's got old school Broly on it.
But I'm pretty sure Toriyama didn't design Broly.
Apparently he did. That's what he said. He's like, oh, I'm surprised that they told me I designed Broly at some stage.
I reckon Shueisha's like, hey, you designed Broly. Do us another movie.
Okay.
Do us another movie so we can sell more Broly merch.
Thoughts on Dragon Ball recycling villains over and over again? What do you think?
I mean,
I'm just looking for some beatdown, and a movie, we might actually get that in 30 seconds in the Super, you know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. They introduced a whole host of new characters for Super. And we're just going to go from the old pool. Why not introduce the characters from the universe that was not explored?
Okay.
In the movie, and then they can set up for the next Super arc. Why you got to bring in Broly? Unless Broly is the next Dragon Ball Super arc. Do you reckon that is? Because they always recap the movies.
Broly could be a new god of destruction or some god or something stupid like that. I don't.
Do you think he is the guy that was in Jiren's flashback?
It's possible.
I mean, they could just shove that in.
Anyway, Christian, there's a show about One Piece.
Yeah, why are we talking about Dragon Ball?
I don't know. Christian, you got your Elbow Spear this week in the anime. Thoughts?
Pretty good. Next week we'll see the actual effect.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job.
I like how every time, like, Zeus has used lightning and shit comes out of it and the lighting changes. It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Gives more ferocity to Big Bum. Yeah, we're in Wano. No break next week, yes?
No break.
Shall we get into the chapter?
We should.
Christian, 9, 10.
10. Onwards to Wano.
Yes.
Alright. Turns out, Olympus is a cool guy. You know, instead of stealing from the town, he gives them supplies instead.
Yes, because they're poor.
Because they're poor.
Good guy, Olympus.
Good guy, Olympus. Will this be Monkey D's first New World territory?
Comment on the architecture of this town, Christian. Did you have a look?
Fucking weird. It's weird architecture.
It's like stitched together.
It's like stitched together. Everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
Weird architecture. No idea what that's about.
I thought of like the kids in the shoe.
Oh, that. Yeah.
That poem
That
or whatever. That's
fairy tale.
That fairy tale.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Weird. Alright, so now onto the actual chapter.
When is this Olympus thing gonna end? What is this, like the 10th week of
I don't
Olympus?
fucking know.
Like, what's
There's
happening?
still no resolution to this Olympus story.
What's the point?
Oh no.
Are we gonna... Christian, surely something happens for this Olympus thing.
Who knows? Nothing could happen, and it could be a Gamatu situation.
Okay.
Alright.
Go
On to the actual chapter. You know, we're back. Monkey D, the crew is back.
Yep.
You know, 6 chapters without him. You know, how could we wait?
Yeah.
You know.
How can we forget the main character's name, Christian?
Oh, we'll get to it. There are characters talking about the reverie. You know, fishermen are here, the start of the show. 200 years since they've attended.
Yep.
Is this the main thing that's going to be discussed at the reverie?
The events of Wano?
No.
The
fisherman declaration.
Oh.
Of them trying to get up to the surface.
I don't know.
Because like, it would be like they're the main star, everyone's talking about them. Shirahoshi.
We debated this while we're in the reverie, that
Yeah.
like, would it happen or wouldn't it happen?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it will happen so Luffy can destroy Fisher Isle without much consequence.
No, it can't. No.
But,
Opposite.
I don't know.
Opposite. It can't happen because Luffy has to destroy Fishman Island, forcing them to go up to the surface.
But if he destroys Fisher Isle with them on it, there's issues.
Well, they could all get off the island and then Luffy comes in and blows it up. You know what I mean?
I mean, the theory is like when he breaks the red line, Fishman Island gets destroyed that way.
I mean, they need to
And
repair Noah. They need to get on there, and then Luffy needs to destroy Fishman Island.
I think it'd be interesting if they get like an island on the surface, but they still get fucked up anyway. Luffy has to save them.
That's the thing.
And it gives Oda an out for them not to go to Fishman Island, like underwater, get the coding. They can go to like an island to revisit these characters that are going.
But Luffy will destroy Fishman Island.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So we'll see.
Insert your hat theory here.
Specifically, a man in a straw hat.
To insert your
Nonsense here.
Whatever, your speculation, whatever. Alright, so we get reintroduced to Luffy, in case you forgot who he was.
Straw Hat Captain
Monkey D. Luffy.
Monkey D. Luffy, 1.5 billion berries.
Now, was this done because
Bellies.
Oda's anticipating a whole heap of new people jumping in on Wano? It's going to be the new Marineford.
People have relapsed. They're like, we're coming back for Wano. We weren't here for like Dressrosa or whatever.
But they know who Luffy is. I'm thinking this is.
They don't know his bounty.
Yeah, but is that really important?
It's also like a cool
It's a cool.
It's cool composition.
Composition, it's cool.
Composition wise, it's
but
cool.
Is this for? Because this arc is supposedly the new Marineford, and there's a whole bunch of new people that jumped
people
on.
will definitely jump on at this point. They'll read the wiki and then jump on.
Is this just for those people?
I guess so.
Just be like, hey, this is the main crew. This is the captain.
Yeah, we're starting.
Because like
we'll get into
get into it, but like
we'll get into the structure of what's up.
Alright,
which is interesting.
Sanji is losing it over Vivi. You know, people are upset about this gag.
Why? Why are they upset?
Because Sanji should be more mature.
What do you mean?
He loses it over women.
Yes.
His gag.
That's his character. What are you
People
talking about?
are
are you saying that people are upset about this chapter specifically?
Yes.
Or just Sanji's character?
This chapter specifically.
Why? Because he should have grown from Whole Cake Island?
Because when is Sanji going to grow up? When is he going to be the cool guy?
Never.
When is all this going to happen? And I'm saying, it's never going to happen.
That's Sanji's thing.
Because that's his gag. It's like, why are you bringing up the gag against his character?
It's like Frankie not saying super anymore.
It's Sanji's thing.
It's like Usopp not being scared anymore.
I understand the jokes being lazy. Like, sometimes it's just like lazy jokes. Just for like cheap comedy.
Yeah.
But if Oda sets it up and then there's like some sort of funny payoff with like Nami doing something.
To be fair, like
he keeps on repeating the same joke.
This chapter, like, I don't know. We haven't seen crew reactions. We haven't seen the crew together in a while, and this kind of like reestablishes character things.
So is this a reintroduction
I didn't have a
to all
problem with it. I enjoyed it.
But I don't hate it. It's just that like Oda keeps on repeating the same joke.
Like if he married Pudding and they were on the crew, and then like
you get wife jokes.
And then he was doting, and then there was some kind of like Pudding punches him in the head because of evil Pudding. You know, what are you doing looking at other women? Maybe that'd be fun.
That's
a twist on it.
But like we've been getting the same joke non-stop for like 20 years.
And it'll never change. Luffy's hungry all the time.
I get it. But maybe he can sprinkle a little new joke in there. Because, people say Brooks' jokes get old, but at least they're, like, puns and they're situational. But, like, Sanji's just like, if there's a hot girl, Sanji's gonna lose it. And is that funny after the 100th time?
What other part of Sanji's character can be exploited for jokes?
I'm not saying that part. I'm just saying do the joke in a different way. Because he does the joke the same every time.
Give us an example of a different way, Christian.
So,
just off the top of your head.
I don't know. Instead of like losing it, he does like shifty eyes and cuts the picture out of the newspaper. Maybe a little more of a subtle joke.
Right.
Instead of doing the same, Sanji losing it every time.
Okay.
It just you can do the joke about his character. I don't mind that, but the same joke constantly, it's just not funny anymore. Like, and what's the point of the comedy if it's not funny?
I don't know. I think I enjoyed it. I didn't have a big issue with it. Like,
it's not a big issue. I'm just saying it's not as funny as it could be. Like, why repeat the same joke constantly?
I don't know. Well, Christian, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of the situations where it could happen, because we got a lot of different those in the wedding.
Yeah.
Which was entertaining, like him thinking about putting the different funny faces and stuff.
Yeah, those are different situations that are funny.
Yeah.
But like, if you just repeat the same joke
is it funny that he thinks that they're thinking about him?
No, because he always does that.
Because he's delusional, yeah.
He always does that though. It's like his joke.
Well, this is used as like a thing to not make sure that the Straw Hats are known by Big Mom Carter.
Yeah, I know it's used for that, but the example I gave would have been a funnier joke, and you would have gotten the same effect. It's just like, I think Oda's being a little bit lazy with the comedy. With Sanji, because it's the same thing over and over again. Why not? Yeah, look, I don't care about his gag. Yeah. It's a funny gag if you do it differently. That's all I have to say about that. All right. The example is Brooke. Brooke has the same joke every time, but it's in different scenarios, different situations, and it's a different pun. That's why it's funny.
Okay.
Sanji's it's just falling flat. Maybe it needs a little work.
Yeah, you bring up Brooke, right? Everyone was like fucking pissed off when he asked to see Big Mom's panties, you know? Is that...
That's a power scale thing. The joke is funny.
Right.
People weren't complaining about the joke.
Because the situation is so tense that the joke is funny, because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's different. It's a situation that's different. That's what I'm saying there. So, moving on. Sanji remembers Viola. Very good.
Yeah.
Does Sanji like Viola more than Pudding?
I think Sanji's just one of them cobbers that's trying to get whatever he can.
That's interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know those people. Alright.
He doesn't really like...
I think he likes Viola more. Because it's more about... It was more of his choice to protect her. Instead of the whole situation.
I mean, it's sorta, but like... Sanji would do that for most.
Yeah.
Women.
He kind of got scammed and he's...
Well, it doesn't, like... This is the thing. Sanji, no one's gonna end up with anything because this is Naruto.
I mean, the 10-year... Whatever. The time skip.
Yes.
Whatever. So... Sanji and Chopper start cutting up the newspaper so now we can't read the events. So the crew will be surprised when Big Mom turns up at Wano. This is happening.
Yeah.
Oda keeps on mentioning it.
We knew this was happening regardless.
No
like, why mention it if it's not happening? It's kind of like the Marco thing. Marco's not coming.
Yeah.
But he is.
I like how, like, the Emperors aren't, like, secret information anymore.
Yeah.
They're, like, in the newspaper. Because, like, back in, like, East Blue, apparently no one knew who the Emperors were.
Well, they're moving. They're actually doing things.
Alright.
You wouldn't just... There wouldn't be a daily segment in the newspaper being like, this is what Kaido did today.
But you'd think there would be, like, opinion pieces on Kaido and, like, that kind of bullshit.
I don't know.
He's like a big political figure in the world.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Just a little thing there. You know... Alright, once we have gone around the world, we should visit them again. The last chapters of One Piece. Yeah?
We got that today, because we thought that would, we thought we'd get that.
Yeah.
To go visit people. When we did the Alabasta review, we noticed and mentioned that Vivi wants to sail with the Straw Hats again.
And she says in the Reverie.
She's in the Reverie. She wants to be on that ship.
I think it's just going to be a montage at the end. Nothing too serious.
I mean, there's so many characters the Straw Hats have interacted with.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have, like, 4 chapters of montages.
It's going to be like Gold Roger's second journey, where he had to go through the Grand Line once, and then he had to do the second journey. And like,
depends how Oda wants to do it, because once Luffy gets the One Piece,
yeah,
the show's the series is pretty much over.
Yeah.
Now does he want to go on a little bit of a tour to round off the chapter count? I wouldn't mind it.
Just a little montage of like him re-interacting with the old characters.
Yeah, they sail to Alabasta, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Alright, so, Luffy can't get in contact with anyone in the Dende Mushi. Has the events of Zoro already started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no time speculation.
So,
there's no time.
The Straw Hats dealing with that.
I imagine the Zoro thing happened moments before we see the scene. Because there's no, like, 2 hours later or 1 week after...
Yeah.
Or whatever. So I'm assuming they're at the same period of time. Yeah. Just on the tour thing. We finish at Fukuro Village, right? Luffy's starting village. Luffy gives the hat to Shanks' kid.
Well,
and we wrap it up.
You would assume you would go back over the red line, so you're back on the Grand Line.
Yeah.
Back up Reverse Mountain.
Yeah.
So you would start.
So you start and then go that way.
You just...
Do you go backwards or do you go around? Depends when they finish, I guess.
The other side of the red line is the knock-up. The Reverse Mountain. So they'll be right back at the start of the Grand Line.
Yeah, and then go backwards to East Blue.
If they want. I mean, they got to go through the Grand Line again. To see everyone.
Go through all the villages and shit.
Yeah.
Interesting. So the plan was set in motion to call Kinemon? Is that what we're assuming?
Yep.
Because Kinemon gave them the information to get to Wano.
So,
implied.
A school of koi fish suddenly appear. Mystical koi fish. The crazy weather around Wano. The tides are crazy. The wind's crazy.
Oda is going out of his way to answer Christian's question of why the government doesn't get involved in Wano. Here we are. Very bad weather. very bad situations. He's also trying to tell you that there will be no Navy fleets coming to Wano.
No fleets, but we do expect characters.
We expect an admiral
or two.
Or a few vice admirals. No, 2 admirals. Come on.
Come on, we want to see Green Ball in action.
We want to see Green Ball.
And we want to see Kizaru in action.
Just Green Ball, even.
Okay.
Well, why introduce a Green Ball if you're not going to do anything with it?
Alright, so... the weather's bad. Luffy jumps off the ship to grab a koi fish.
Yes.
The octopus can't start beating a drum, making noises.
Oh yeah, octopus just sneaks onto the ship.
Yeah, it's there in a couple panels.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. Alright, so this is one of the reasons why Wano is isolated, right? You got the bad weather, you got all this kind of stuff. Here's the question: how do they open the borders with this crazy weather? Is there some sort of weather...
Open border policy. They just changed the policy.
Is there some...
Go on.
Is there some weather manipulation going on?
No.
Because... It seems like... How do they... Because that's one of the issues, right? The weather.
Yeah.
The powerful samurai. So the policy. And the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Alright? It seems like... The weather is there to protect Wano from outside influence.
I think it's just a circumstantial situation where, like, the weather makes it difficult.
But how do they fix that issue? That's still an issue.
Like, it's an issue, but, like, you open the borders, you know? It's other people's issues to get in.
I think it's going to be one...
I'm sure there's a very specific route where there's no weather that Kinemon told them about, but they didn't...
Like a
they rang, but they rang him. They were trying to ring him to get the secret route in, weren't they?
Or how to get in.
Yeah. And he's like, be careful, very bad weather. So there's a secret route in there.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? People have always theorized that, Wano had a physical barrier.
It does. It kind of does.
That's what I'm saying. The physical barrier is the weather. So...
I imagine there's a very specific trail that gives clear entrance and exit where they can tell people and they can get in. Because Kinemon had that information.
He did, but it might be like you gotta do 12 twirls around this rock and then
Christian, I don't think we're gonna get into weather manipulation here.
Why not? Nami does it.
Yeah, but who's gonna change it permanently?
Maybe it's being generated.
Is Crocodile gonna suck the moisture out of the clouds?
Crocodiles are manipulating the weather.
Yeah.
Crazy speculation time. What if it's some sort of ancient beast like Zunisha? Some sort of mythical...
Okay, some kind of like...
Sort of a mythical creature that's generating this weather to protect Wano.
I mean...
Some ancient creature. Because we know there's things like Zunisha.
It's possible. It's possible. Yeah. But is it necessary?
I think it would solve the problem of the weather that's around Wano.
Okay.
Because that's one of the physical barriers. That Brooks says, right? The samurai are strong, and they don't want people here. But... people can't do anything about it because of the crazy weather.
I mean, it's just an interesting point to get hung up on, It's the weather's a problem, but it's like a whatever situation. The weather doesn't have to be bad all the time.
It is because that's what Kinemon says. The weather's always bad.
Yeah, okay.
So it could be a plot point. To
do we need that?
The Shogun's manipulating.
Do we need that? Do we need that plot point in the situation that we have at the moment?
I think we do, because it makes the Shogun more evil. Or, it makes the situation actually changeable. You know what I mean? You get rid of the Shogun, you get rid of the policy, and you get rid of this force that's creating this weather.
I think that the weather...
And you open up Wano.
I think that the weather, answers your question as to why didn't world government, after the war... go into Wano.
Yeah, so...
I think the weather's always been like that around Wano, which gives it a natural barrier to make it, separate from the world.
It could
by not choice, but they're choosing to be separated from the world.
It could very well be that it's always like this.
Like ancient dragons changing the weather to protect Zoro. Oh, not Zoro.
To protect Wano. Because we know there's this mist around
Okay.
Zoro.
It's an interesting... I don't know. It's just a weird thing to bring up. It's One Piece is possible, but we have objectives already set.
I just think it would be like an interesting thing at the end of the arc, being like, oh yeah, this fuck was changing the weather, and now we can finally rest or some shit.
Okay.
Because it would tie back into Zunisha or some shit, being like these animals that are enslaved to the Wano people, and they protect Wano.
For me, it's a whatever point.
It's whatever.
I wouldn't be offended either way.
I just think it adds a little more a little more certainty to actually opening up the borders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Luffy tries to grab a fish. The fish is struggling. We get a heap of double plate spreads, just showing the art of Wano.
Very good art.
We get the classic spread of the Japanese traditional painting by Yukie. The Great Wave. Get a very stylized sort of version of that. Weird water currents, so, pulling them along this track.
Yep.
The koi, start moving up the waterfall, but it's on a downstream river. How does that work? Crazy weather.
Yeah.
Crazy One Piece currents and shit. Luffy grabs it to the kois. They fly up the waterfall. There's a whirlpool up there. Luffy gets thrown overboard. A massive spread of a beach with the big thin mountain in the back.
Yeah.
So we're definitely on Wano. And I reckon it's possibly on the other side of the city.
Side note.
On the other beach of the city.
Side note, this whirlpool is the exact same thing that happened to Luffy and how he met Alvito in the barrel.
Yeah.
Because sucked up to a whirlpool and managed to escape.
Yeah.
Interesting parallels. Don't know what that means specifically. But interesting nonetheless.
So the crew is now separated. Luffy's on his own. A classic One Piece.
With the new character, Octopus Man.
Is he there?
Yeah.
Where is he?
He's in the back reacting with the animals because you can see the sound effects where the ship is, the pon and the yoi and stuff.
Luffy wakes up, Crab bites him on the nose, separating the crew. A mystical dog smacks into the Sunny. Luffy... Is this Luffy's pet for the arc?
No. It doesn't seem aggressive.
Because it's
specifically.
It seems kind of nice.
Yeah.
When it's woofing. And it could be like the bull from Dressrosa, where Luffy just rides it around.
Or the Cerberus.
Yeah.
In Punk Hazard.
Yeah.
Possible.
He just rides this shit around the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Could he be riding this mystical dog into battle against Kaido? His mount. Then we get to see this massive baboon towers over the tree line. Absolutely fucking huge.
Yes.
And now with the katana, we must be in Wano. Chapter ends.
Now, Christian, let's talk about the speculation about this chapter specifically.
Yeah.
Interesting pacing from Oda this week. We predicted that Luffy would be arriving on Wano this week, and he did.
Yep.
Anyone could predict such a situation.
Yep.
Not a difficult thing to talk about. I am interested that we arrived on the island this week.
Very quickly. Very quickly.
No, we need to find this animal to take us to Wano. No, there's a giant ship falling out of the sky. No, there's a scavenger ship with monkeys on it. We're right there.
It's a predestination, right?
Yes.
We know where we're going.
Now, information given to... Now, how are they getting there? We know how the island system works on the Grand Line.
Yep.
What kind of information would Kimon have to give for directions?
Just give him the number system with the New World log pose.
Yeah.
You know how in Poke Island?
Yeah.
With the map, and how it's got the numbers? You follow the numbers.
Okay.
You can get in that way. So it's probably some sort of secret route. Who knows? Now, do we want to talk about that Reverie is seemingly over?
Reverie's definitely over, Christian. No,
done.
The Reverie in the world is not over, or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
But for now, we're taking a break.
Are we going to see it after Wano?
Yes.
There we go. After Wano,
World Emperor's Navy will be like, Monkey D. Luffy,
Yeah.
serious threat. Declarations will be made.
Here's the thing. Are you disappointed about where it ended? With the Aimu reveal? Are you disappointed with where it ended?
No, because it wasn't making sense in my mind as to where it would end.
Yeah.
Without it being a full 50 chapter arc.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, just shooting all these answers, these questions out.
Yeah.
We know how it works.
Yeah.
It's going to take years to get these answers.
Here's the thing. Would you have minded another 3 chapters of Reverie? We get Cobra's declaration of what are the poneglyphs. Cut Wano. More anticipation. A better cliffhanger than Aimu.
I think
because this is like that was like endgame stuff.
Well, everything that was gonna happen in the Reverie was set up. Nothing else technically needed to be done. Yeah. Things could have been done to make things clearer.
So at the end of Wano, another 5 chapters of Dragon's Declaration.
Now, this is the thing, because we can afford to take as much time in the Reverie as we like after Wano. Well, Luffy's not there, but you know what I mean. Like, we there's no time limit on where's Wano, where's Luffy. I want to go to Wano, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like, the reason why I'm more than happy to go to Wano now is because I never had really high hopes for Reverie.
Surpassed your expectations. Come on, you were saying nothing was gonna happen. You're gonna get jacked.
Like we didn't get any answers.
We got a heap of shit. All right, you can't say we didn't get.
We got stuff. We got questions. That's what we got. We got questions.
We got answers about how world government works, the secret
sort of
Illuminati thing. We've been speculating for ages.
People were talking about, I want poneglyph information, I want this, I want that. We got better setup for the world. And that's how I look at the Reverie. It's sprinkling.
It's post-arc.
It's flavour. It's flavour.
You cannot call this an arc.
I'm not disappointed. Are you disappointed?
I would have preferred, 2 more chapters to probably set up the talk.
Or...
because that's just getting skipped now. The talk's getting skipped. I wanted to know what everyone else thought was important. They would have talked about Wano, about what is Wano. They would have hyped up Wano, get a little bit
this is the
information
thing.
about
when we were talking about the Reverie and Whole Cake Island, I was saying, what are they going to talk about that's going to be interesting at the Reverie?
Yeah.
What would they talk about at that round table specifically, not the surrounding events?
Yeah.
That would be worth the panel time, and not just hype and...
Well, they could have talked about the rocks.
Building. Yeah, okay.
Could have talked about the reappearance of the rocks. They could have talked about Blackbeard the scumbag. They could have talked about Monkey D and his emperor status. They could have talked about a whole host of interesting things.
Okay.
But it's been skipped now, so... at least give me 1 chapter of that, of what King's...
I think Oda doesn't want to do it because he wants to...
do that in the world.
Have all these things. He wants Luffy to react to the situations instead of just telling you what's going on.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? There's no point just, dropping juicy details and information without having your main characters involved in some way.
Yeah.
Because then they just become tidbits that you need to reintroduce to the characters when they find out. So, might as well do that, revealing to the characters and to the audience at the same time.
Yeah, you can't just be like, oh, this happened, but the crew wouldn't know that.
Yeah. And then you have to reintroduce it again when the crew finds out. So it's like...
I get it, but I would have preferred one more time.
Now, the same thing happened, the similar thing happened with the newspaper. We know that Big Mums and Kaido are turning up, right?
Yeah.
And the crew does it, which gives us a sense of oh shit, what are they going to do? Are they going to find out?
Yeah, exactly.
But for Blackbeard's been dealing in the underworld organizations and shit. Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? I don't know. It's just more flavor, and we got plenty of flavor from the Reverie.
Yeah, that's all we got from the Reverie. Yeah, just flavor, right?
We got the most juicy pieces of flavor. I don't think we needed a little extra.
The Reverie is all frosting and no cake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes it's too much frosting, you know?
I can definitely get down with that sentiment.
So, anyway, the baboon, Christian, people are talking. It's a calamity. It's related to the baboons on Mihawk's Island.
I can believe that. I can believe that possibility.
Yeah.
Is this baboon strong? Is this baboon going to give Luffy a trouble? No.
Is this a device to clearly display Luffy's powers after Katakuri right now?
But how is this monkey even compared to Katakuri?
It's a beast. He had to use Gear 4 on animals, Christian.
I get these animals are strong.
Yeah.
I get it. But that's all they are.
Well,
all they are is strong.
The community is unsure about... I'm talking specifically about the Haki situation, right?
The observation.
People are unclear. Could we have the monkey swing the sword? We get a clear...
Future sight moment,
or whatever Oda wants to do with an observation Haki, but makes it clear. And then Luffy one-shots the baboon.
I think it's possible.
Because, like...
This baboon is to just introduce that this is Wano and there's strong creatures here.
And gives Luffy something to do while the other crew members are exploring the islands without Luffy so they can get into trouble.
Are we going to get a couple of chapters like this, emulating Skypiea, with the crew wandering around, exploring the island, soaking in the culture of the island, pointing out funny things, just fucking around, and then the action starts happening?
I think we'll get half a chapter of the crew fucking about, like Sanji's crew fucking about. We'll get a little bit of Zoro and what's going on with that situation, and we'll get a little bit of Luffy in that situation.
Yeah.
And, like, not all three will be in every chapter for the next 10 chapters, but we'll get 2 of 3 situations going on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like how it usually goes, but what is the purpose of this octopus character? Does it have any relevance to any characters in the series?
I just think this comes back to that Kabuki thing where you got that music always playing.
Yeah. People are saying it's a ninja, it's a shinobi in transform.
It could be,
jutsu.
But why is it so wacky?
What's the point?
Did the octopus let him into Wano by the core stream?
Is it Kinemon's octopus that's assisting them?
Who knows? All speculation.
It's got a headband on it, which reminds you of like sous chef situation. So it could be like a part of making ramen or something. That also reminds you of Hachi's cover story with him making the fritters.
Well, those are just headbands that like carpenters and just working people wear. It's not necessarily.
But could be the ultimate play.
Cook thing.
Is Hachi and Rayleigh in Wano? Why not? We didn't see Rayleigh in the post arc. He was at a gambling house. He has connections with Hachi.
Why is Hachi in Wano?
I'm just getting the vibes that there's an octopus that cooks. Maybe
he's a fisherman. What does that have to do with Wano?
Because he's cooking in Wano, you know, cooking fritters.
Why would the fisherman?
I just get the feel. I don't know. It's like a weird misconnection of like things that are happening.
You're just connecting dots and taking shots in the dark.
It does make sense.
What are you talking about? That's for the next segment, alright? Yes. You're already bleeding into next segment.
Christian, thoughts? People are like, it's too slow, it's too fast, what are we doing?
People are saying it's too slow, don't understand One Piece.
No, Christian, Act 1. Mm-hmm. In this.
Set up the island.
Potentially 5 arc structure.
Okay.
Of said Kabuki theater. Which we might get into next week. Get a
detailed breakdown. I'm not really convinced that it's that right now. Because the only evidence we have is like, there's a little musical bit.
It's pretty similar to Western structure, so we don't have to worry.
Yeah, it's just general storytelling structure. There's a couple little tidbits of interesting stuff there. But people are saying this chapter is too slow. Don't understand One Piece.
Christian, we have...
And don't understand the adventure of One Piece.
So what...
These people are the Dressrosa babies. They're going to the show on Dressrosa. They don't understand that you have to explore the island. It's an adventure series at its core. You need that adventure at the start. The classic, the OG One Piece fandom.
Think about the
loves this.
Think about the first 5 chapters of Dressrosa though. We're walking around eating spaghetti.
I mean, it didn't really show the culture.
Yeah.
Only thing it did was...
I think
only thing it did well was show Violet doing the Spanish dance.
The crew, but Robin and Law were eating the pasta outside the restaurant. CP0 walks past. Luffy and the rest are in the gambling house eating.
I don't think it was good. It was good, right? But that all connected, right? Yep. All that shit connected. So it wasn't really about it wasn't about a cultural piece about the island.
Yeah.
This shit could all connect, but Oda hasn't done this in a while. Where we get the culture of their island, their scenery, the inhabitants, the creatures here.
Yes.
This is a classic Alabaster, Skypiea type of structure.
We're gonna get 10 chapters of mucking about
how the island works, the systems.
This is the thing about the island and how it works. We would have got a good explanation about the weather if I think he wanted to do that.
But we'll get that when we see Kinemon, because Kinemon knows.
Right.
So, people also complained when Whole Cake Island did this. Why are we introducing Woods?
Wasting time.
It wasn't a waste of time. Important characters, important plot points. It's never a waste of time.
This is the thing. In storytelling, if you go too quickly,
you don't understand
on setting the stage, you have no context for the environment in which you're in.
You have to engross the reader, soak them in the environment.
Yes.
So they feel like they're there. And once you've done that, you can tell your story. Because if you don't do that, the context won't be around the story.
If you don't do that, there's no point being on that island.
There's no context to the story.
You might as well just have a grey box.
Because there's a political theme about Wano, which is the the isolation, and the oppression of the people because of the Shogun.
Yeah.
You gotta show that. You gotta show the oppression. You gotta show the way people think in Wano.
The relations between nature and the people.
Be afraid of outsiders, all that kind of stuff. You need to show that. You can't just say it.
Yeah.
And people want to say, "Oh, we already know this information," but if you don't show it, what's the point of it?
It's basically, don't give me exposition, just give me fights. Where's the fight? No. Where's the fight? Where's the hype?
These chapters are painting the scenery. They just want to see plot points happen and characters fight. And I get that sentiment.
The stage set.
But there is a time to set up. And this is that time. And you've gotten 10 amazing chapters in a row. And now Oda's put the brakes on. We're back into classic arc structure. And that classic arc structure may have its problems. And has its strengths.
And this is the thing also, like, you think that environmental details don't matter.
They do. They do so much.
But they do, because they give tiny details and little tidbits.
It's very important.
Even how, like, the landscape and, like,
the terrain,
the layout of the land,
trees.
And the trees and the cultural setting give us information in the subconscious mind of how things play out. How does the terrain interact with the battle? The trees, how thick is a shrubbery?
It's so
can that be used in different situations? You got to set the stage properly.
Yeah, it's so important to the story.
Setting up that the weather is extraordinarily bad around Wano.
Yeah,
it's very important. Gives context. No one's talking about how this gives context to the world and how Wano's shut out from it.
It does, but it doesn't, because then it's also like the samurai are also part of it. Also a reason.
Yes, but like it gives specific. Like you had problems last week. Like
sure, but
why can't the Navy invade? What are they doing? Do they want to take it over? This is another reason why they can't do it, and it's very. This is why no one really wants to go into Wano, because it's very difficult to get in.
Yeah, maneuvering a fleet into Wano is going to be difficult.
Yeah, so
is that
context is everything in a story, Christian?
Does Big Mom lose most of her fleet trying to get in, and the main ship only gets in?
I don't see Big Mom bringing that many people. She'll bring a tight unit. It seems like she's not the type of person to plan and prepare an all-out 10-fleet army.
But we have Perisper and we have Montor, who are very plan-focused.
Yes.
They're the military minds, right? Big Mom's all about, let's fucking go in.
Well, the Straw Hats technically did have the cake in the end. Sort of.
I mean, sort of, kind of not.
So is Perisborough dead? Probably not.
Perisborough's not dead.
I'd be happy with Big Mum, Katakuri Smoothie, Perisborough, and that's probably it.
Do you want Cracker back? Cracker's a problem.
We saw enough of Cracker, and Cracker brings logistical problems into it.
I mean, he brings a whole army with him, so that might be important.
You bring Cracker, you don't need a fleet.
Exactly.
So there you go.
So Cracker
options.
Just bring the commanders and the big boys.
I mean, you start bringing Arvin Daifuku.
I mean,
you start bringing all these characters. We get into the problem where like too many.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the problem I see. Big Mom.
Unless Big Mom just goes by herself because she's that crazy and she's flying on another Zeus 2.0.
Here's the thing, right? She knows if she enters Wano, she's gonna have a problem with Kaido.
Yes.
So she knows she has to bring her whole fleet. She knows she has to bring her armada.
But let me throw this at you.
What?
Anyone else but Kaido, right?
Yeah.
Who's the problem? The gap between Commander and Emperor is so big that it does not matter.
I just think she might not want the commanders getting in the way of it.
She'll definitely bring a few characters. We want to see that Katakuri Luffy reunion.
Yeah, okay.
And how that goes on.
Yeah.
The fabled Katakuri Luffy reunion that Christian desperately wants.
When he joins the crew.
We want to see Smoothie do something. That'd be great.
Smoothie possibly fights.
And we want to see Big Mom full strength, all out. Elbow spears, etc. Now, does this weaken a nerf Kaido? Probably. But we're happy with that. 2 Emperors fighting Christian. Very rare occurrence in the show. Everyone wants to see it.
I mean, this is the only opportunity we'll see it.
Answer this question in the comments below for me.
Yeah.
Do you want to see Luffy and allies take on a fresh Kaido and defeat him? Or do you want to see 2 Emperors fight? That's the question.
But what's the outcome, like...
The outcome is
Big Mom die?
The outcome is Kaido loses.
No, but like, what's the outcome of Big Mom versus Kaido? Because they'll fight to the death, surely. Their fight would have to last 10 days.
Kaido wins, Big Mom's knocked out, but Kaido's really weak.
Yeah, but their fight would have to
Luffy goes in.
Their fight would have to last 10 days to match the Admirals.
I mean, it wouldn't because it's too... This is the thing, Christian, you bring this up all the time about the Admirals, right?
Yeah.
The Emperors are so immense in strength that...
Yeah, but they both have immunities.
Yeah.
So the fight would have to last for 10 days. So them fighting is a low possibility. Just because of the logistical problems that come with it.
But Straw Hat Alliance facing 2 Emperors, Christian.
Maybe a clash, right? Maybe a clash. Like, they clash and like half of Wano just explodes.
Yeah.
From the force. But...
Yeah. Christian, this isn't the segment for Raps.
Chapter ratings.
7. Standard chapter. Not offensive. Good chapter.
Art, fantastic.
Yes, beautiful art.
Love to see the beautiful art from the beautiful man Oda.
Yes.
Right? Fantastic Japanese flavor to his style. Not completely adopting a different style. Adding to it. Changing the flavor.
It's interesting because the style of the island is Japanese, not the style in general.
It's Oda's version of that. You know what I mean?
The characters are in his style, but the Wano itself is a Japanese style. The characters don't change.
Well, if you look at the Wano characters, they're very Japanese.
But they're not in that style of the island. Characters in that Japanese style are very distinct.
Well, you see that dog thing, right?
Yeah, but
it's still an odorized Japanese style of the island. It's not a complete Japanese style.
Yeah.
It's just like pulled off. He's using his like dot patterns. He's using.
It's very good art.
Yeah, he's mixing styles. I love to see it.
Just turn it down a little bit on the doubles. I
mean, we're gonna get spans with double page spreads. We're already fought all over again, where there's like 6 double page spreads a chapter.
Yeah.
There you go. Alright, 7 out of 10, fair rating. People want to say 3 out of 10. Those people don't understand what One Piece is. Alright.
Next week, crew, we see Nami and Sanji. And shit.
And their side?
And Luffy at the end does something.
I think we're sticking with Luffy the whole time, and then he runs into like some important character.
Okay.
And starts some sort of debacle. But yeah. Alright, next segment. How strong is Shanks? every week, we come to you with the question: how strong is Shanks? And every week, we answer: Shanks is the strongest. Shanks is the God King. But there are people out there, you know, they think Kaido's the strongest. They think Dragon's the strongest. They think Aimu's the strongest.
Ridiculous.
Right? And every week, we bring 100% factual information.
Factual for the people, Christian.
And this week, I bring another 100% factual piece of information to you to prove to you that Shanks is the strongest. Shanks is so strong that this baboon would instantly bow down to the God King and follow his every command he gives. Thus is the power of the God King Shanks. Shanks is the strongest. Shanks is the God King.
Christian, what's next?
What do you want to do? You want to do power scale or you want to do the topic of the show?
We'll do power scale and then go into random speculation because we just said. Power scale, Christian, who's doing what? What's going on?
A very interesting power scale last week.
Yes.
The Kingu
Getting upset
at a few characters. Some I can understand, some I can't.
I don't understand what he was talking about.
I don't understand his crocodile argument.
It would take months and months to figure out and unravel this perfect list.
Perfect list. King was saying some crazy stuff.
Except Bradley, but we can't do much about that.
We will debate that further with him at a later date.
Yes.
Alright?
We don't want to get too serious about the power scale, Christian. Like, we're not here to...
It's 100% factual.
We're not here to promote cancer.
It's 100% factually.
It's the only power scale that matters, which is correct.
It's the only power scale that has this many characters on it.
Yes, but we're not here to scream at each other about who deserves in what tier. Etc.
Well, you know, this one character that you like to bring up, but we want to talk about that. You know?
Okay.
All right. So is it me first?
Yes.
Wano, right?
Yes.
Wano. Interesting characters in Wano.
Yep.
But we haven't seen anything from Wano yet.
We have a few Wano characters.
We do have a few Wano characters.
I don't know if we have enough information to do anything with them.
Exactly.
Yet. What do we think, Christian?
So,
what are we doing?
Let's pull it back. Let's answer the question of...
Go on.
Do we have it?
Who are we looking at?
Boa Hancock.
Surely we have Boa Hancock on the list.
No.
Okay.
Boa Hancock.
Interesting choice, Christian. What do we think?
Alright. Haki confirmed.
Yes.
No questions there.
Well, levels of Haki, whatever, but Haki confirmed.
I mean, it was pre-time skip. They know about Haki. If
she showed again, she'll have proper Haki.
She's a warlord. She has proper Haki.
Conqueror's Haki.
Confirmed.
I think so.
Confirmed.
Yes.
Conqueror's Haki.
Why are you saying it like it's a question?
It's not a question. I thought you were saying it's a question.
Why'd you answer it like it was a question?
You're like Conqueror's Haki?
And you're like,
I'm like, yes.
And you were like, confirmed, question mark. And I was like, what are you talking about? Anyway.
It's confirmed.
Kicks, very strong kicks.
Turns people into stone. Alright?
Busted devil fruit.
Busted devil fruit.
Now, guaranteed does not work on high tiers because of their strong will. They're not going to be infatuated by this woman because of their strength. You know, anime logic.
Anime logic will be applied to Boa Hancock. But there's ways to avoid this. You know, stab yourself. These kind of different
You can even turn
features.
inanimate objects into stone, Christian.
You can turn snails into stone.
Yeah.
Alright?
Denden Mushi. Anything that desires her,
Will turn to
even
stone.
the slightest amount, can turn to stone. Now, what does this petrified state mean?
Yeah.
Are they fully solid stone?
I mean, it's just
Is it a coating? What's going on?
she's got different moves that also cast this sort of effect.
What's her fruit? Love fruit?
Yeah.
Is it...
Yeah.
Is it gonna turn out that she's a mythical Zoan Medusa?
Well, I'm pretty sure she's based off the Medusa, right?
Yes.
But she has things like the love arrow. She can shoot the projectile.
Yes.
Even if, like, because in some cases, even looking at her will turn you to stone. But in other cases, she has to shoot something at you to turn you into stone.
Yeah.
Right? She's got the love beam, the love arrow. She can kick you and turn you into stone. So there's some sort of like it's a stronger effect when she uses a move.
Did very well in Marinefall for herself.
I think
Wall of the Sea.
Wall of the Sea.
She's got Haki. What do we think, Christian?
I'm thinking low high.
I'm comfortable with low high.
I'm thinking low high. Could possibly turn it up to high if we see her in the new world kicking head in.
This is the thing. When we get into high tiers, her ability becomes useless via anime and manga logic.
We don't know that.
But, you know.
Yeah.
Anything other than, like, high tier, reasonable to think that her ability works.
I think it's possible that she could be in high tier if we get to see potent Haki.
I want to see the strength of her combat ability. Because
she's a very good combatant.
She's a good fighter, but I don't know.
She's a very good fighter.
I don't know the power of these attacks.
They're strong enough to break stone.
Yes.
That's all we know.
So is Redfoot Zeph.
I could go either way. Alright, we don't know how much DC she has.
We don't know.
It's kind of a Sanji debate though, because like Sanji's attacks aren't impressive, but they're potent. Like we don't know how much she can kick.
We need to understand Boa Hancock's full extent of strength.
Physical strength.
To move her up into high tiers.
I'm gonna say low high though. I reckon she has no problem being in low high.
Appropriate. I'm not offended. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're offended out there, let us know.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Christian. The man that's been on the cover story. More panel time.
For an eternity.
Olympus.
What the fuck do you want me to say about Olympus?
He's strong.
He can throw a man across the city.
Bowling ball attacks. Haki, nowhere to be seen.
No Haki.
He's got a whip.
Yeah.
He shouts at goons. They turn into a formation, and then he throws people into bowling.
He can throw a man across a city at ridiculous
supersonic speeds. Would it be fair?
Yes, there are.
Breaks the sound barrier.
Supersonic speeds.
Yes.
Can throw a man.
Immense physical strength for this man.
Immense physical strength.
He can bear hug people and crush them.
What is his... He's got a whip?
Yes.
So he's got a weapon of some sort.
Okay.
Does he... Ah, well. Here's the thing. We haven't seen jack shit of him. He didn't face up against the Doflamingo commander.
Physical strength is interesting in One Piece because Luffy can rip apart buildings.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's just start at low mid. Okay?
Yep.
And work our way up. I think it's fair to say work our way up.
Yep.
Because he beats Jabba, right? His power is enough.
CP0, CP9. Yeah.
His power is strong.
Yeah. I think he can break through.
His physical power is pretty strong.
I think he can break through.
Yeah. That's a man punch on him. Does he beat the Boa Sisters? Or one of the Boa Sisters? Haki.
They have Haki, they're crafty.
They have armored Haki.
Is Olympus speedy?
No.
He doesn't even fight a Doflamingo commander.
He fights...
He throws Zoro.
He does throw Zoro.
Like, true. He helps in the Pika battle.
Yeah.
For Zoro, but
commands
he doesn't do much.
4,300 men, unknown number now.
His commanding skills can command goons on the other side.
Interesting.
You remember that?
Yes.
That's an interesting little thing from Dressrosa.
Nami would outplay him, especially with Zeus now.
Yep. I think he does beat a Pacifista.
A Rouge could not beat a Pacifista. Comments.
Pre-time skip.
Yes. But a Rouge very strong.
Very strong. Here's the thing. Olympus can throw so fast that he maybe could penetrate one.
Okay.
I think all out he could beat one.
But does that qualify him to move up to the middle?
No, because Nami can be the pacifist. But she's not up there.
I don't remember what we said about Nami.
I'm pretty sure we did say she could be one. With her setup, with her strategy.
Now,
I think Olympus could be the pacifista. So I think low mid for Olympus is fair. Because we don't know his speed. We don't know how much damage he can cop.
Judge would be in a protect shit, right?
Judge, yeah, I think Judge has more combat repertoire. He can deal with Sanji's speed, apparently.
Yes.
That's a feat. Alright? So, Olympus, I think...
Olympus wouldn't be able to deal with Hody Jones's sharks.
No, I think Hody Jones outmuscles him.
Christian, I'm happy because I was aiming for low mid. We need to fill the slot.
Yeah, it's a very hard slot to fill.
I think
Olympus.
I think it's maybe a little bit unfair. But from what we got from him, I think...
Yeah, from what we've got, I think it's a fair...
And he's useful. He's a useful low mid.
Yeah, he's got utility on the battlefield.
He's got a lot of men, ships.
Got a lot of ships. Very good leader.
Can
very
throw
good
people. That's very good for arc structure when you can just throw people across islands. Travel time cut in half.
He's got that technique to throw people. It's very good. So...
Olympus...
I think it's fair.
Olympus may be the longest cover story in history.
Oh no, that goes to Komatsu.
Yeah. It might beat it. We're going to have... I'm interested to count.
Right,
I'm not going to do the research. Maybe the people out there will.
Low mid, Olympus, and low high, Boa.
Talk about the show. Rampant speculation.
Rampant speculation.
Christian, here we are.
Now, you wanted to talk about this week.
Do you have notes that you want to get through?
No, I have a couple of dot points.
Give me what you think.
Alright, structure.
Yes.
What is the structure of this arc? Will we get Luffy and the crew fucking around for 10 chapters? Right. Then the complication with Zoro. Then the complication with the Wano.
The complication from Zoro moves the plot forward into the complication with the Shogun and Kaido.
Maybe we beat the Shogun and then Kaido is summoned.
Yes.
And then the war begins. Because we need time to set up for this war. Mm-hmm. And we need time to deal with the Zoro situation.
Yes.
So, I think it's going to be a regular arc structure. We're going to beat the Shogun, his men, and then Kaido is summoned.
I think
I think
that's appropriate.
I think this is going to be 2 arcs in one location. The Wano Shogun arc and the Kaido turning up arc.
Without a lot of exposition in the second half?
Yeah. Kaido's men, Jack returns.
Because like for a place
getting all the supernova together, like, getting the poneglyph, getting all that shit.
I think it'll be a mission based thing. All the situation will be sorted out, which we have now, 10 chapters, 15 chapters. Eventually the crew and the Kinemon, Kanjuro,
the extended crew,
the extended crew, they all meet up, they have their feast, and they make their plans. Zoro and Brook, you're gonna go take out the Shogun. Robin and whatever, you're gonna
go get the pond.
Do this. Luffy and whatever, you're gonna do this. While that's going on, Zoro gets his fight with the Shogun to end this little segment that we're in.
Little? How do we mean by little? 50 chapters?
50's fair. I think 50 is appropriate.
For the opening...
For
small arc.
For Act 1, Act 2...
Act 3
and then the start of Act 3 hits the 50.
Here's the thing. No.
I think the linchpin to the arc is dethroning the Shogun
and triggering the war.
Releasing the people, and therefore letting Kaido know that the Straw Hats are there.
Well, they're gonna know because of Zoro, right?
Yes, but what is it gonna be like? We send generals after them. Kaido's not gonna get off his ass.
Here's the thing.
He's gonna send goon after goon after them. Christian, he's a villain.
Here's the thing, right? I can imagine this, as I said, playing out as 2 arcs, but in one story saga.
I was gonna put in there
Like a Water 7 and his lobby type situation. Deal with the things within the country, spark off the war, have the war, finish the war.
I agree.
All the fights, all that kind of shit.
I agree, but not as extreme as like
that arc
segments, like not as segmented as those two arcs are.
Well,
and a more conclusive end to the Water 7 section. Instead of like...
we'll have a more... That's what I think. We'll have a more conclusive end to the Wano political situation.
Free the generals, free the soldiers, everyone's on our side.
Beat the evil Wano forces.
And plus...
Because Luffy has to gather people to his cause.
Yeah.
For the war against Kaido.
I found it...
And this war has to be sparked off.
I found it interesting last week. When Kinemon was talking about, the Shogun and Kaido. No mention of calamities controlling the area. No mention of oppression from this calamity controls this area, we're going to be careful of this guy. I think the main city is only controlled by the Shogun. Calamities and Kaido are in their own castle doing their own thing.
Yeah. That weird spike mountain. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I can imagine this arc happening within the Wano city. And then we cut. Next arc starts. We charge onto Kaido's territory, which is the weird spike mountain. We need a fighting ground that is not a city. Because we need a whole bunch of characters to fight. And there's going to be massive explosions. We need some sort of open field. Kaido's zone looks pretty desolate. Except for that mountain.
I don't really think that's... To be fair, I was going to bring up Dressrosa, but Pika moved the terrain.
Yeah, Pika moved the terrain. Pika, set that whole thing up. So, that's a way I could see the structure going down.
They march towards Kaido's castle?
Yeah. Because they need to gather a force behind them.
Yeah, and I think that's...
And we need to wait till Neko gets here. Neko can turn up.
Neko and Marco and Jinbei.
All those people that turn up, they can turn up after the first half.
Yeah.
And they can start in the second half. That way we get fresh new characters doing new things.
This is the thing. First half of the arc, I want to talk about fights specifically. We'll see Zoro and the Shogun, yes?
Yeah.
Or a general or something like that.
Zoro versus the strongest
Zoro gets a fight.
Yeah.
Zoro gets a fight against the Shogun specifically.
Yeah.
Does Luffy fight a general, a calamity, and the other Straw Hats get a fight in their own specific missions?
I think...
To kind of divvy out before the main event with Kaido.
I think the main event is when we're going to get most of the fights. But we're going to get the Zoro versus the Big Swordsman fight. At the end of the first part of the arc. And then we might get maybe Luffy versus... Or maybe Luffy clashes
because I can
someone.
see via this event that Zoro did, he either's going to escape and no one knows what happened.
Or he's going to go straight up.
Where's the murderer? Or Kaido's going to send a calamity to the situation.
Yeah.
Luffy deals with the calamity, Zoro deals with the Shogun. To kind of set up... to get rid of enemies for the final fight. Because we want to deal with Kaido at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, we still got to rescue all the Supernova there, interact with them. So there's a lot of things to do before the war can start.
You reckon we'll have a Capone style meeting?
Yeah, with Kid and his crew, go saving him. Maybe we find Killer.
I think Kid comes in at the end, to be honest. He's locked up in that castle next to Kaido's throne room.
Well, here's the thing, right? We need all the players free and ready to fight before the war begins. Because if we're going on rescue missions during the war, it splits up all the fights. Do you want that?
It splits up characters that don't necessarily need a fight to do something.
But
Killer's gonna be like, my captain is locked up in Kaido's, let's go save him. He's a massive asset.
Yeah, he's a massive asset for the battle that he's not going to be in because he's locked up.
But he comes in at the appropriate time.
No, he needs to be freed and he needs to be healed up and then we can battle.
How is he going to...
They need some sort of infiltration mission to get...
Is this what Robin and Brook do?
This is what some characters do.
Rizo and
maybe this
Usopp
is what Law and Brook do.
Yeah.
Because we've got Law helping the crew out.
I think Riser's involved in this situation as well.
Riser, yeah, sure. Maybe, because Law can teleport and shit. We can get a kid, teleport him out.
Okay.
All that kind of stuff.
Is Apu going to be the villain, or is he going to betray?
I think Apu betrays. But, yeah. So, the first part of the arc, we need to gather all the forces. For the second part of the arc, to be smooth fights.
Yes.
Just constant fights.
I will add, Apu is acting as a Capone role, and Drake. If Drake's a part of Kaido's army. They know how it works, we get information on that.
We get information on the army, all that kind of stuff.
Get Kid back.
But did you agree with the structure of the two stories in one?
Yes, we need the first 50 chapters are going to be everyone on their separate missions. We're going to recruit people. We're going to save Kid. We're going to set up this army while Zoro goes after the Shogun to light the fire that starts the war.
To light the revolution, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We need to light the revolution for the people to come together against Kaido, and then we need to go fight him, which is the second half.
Yeah.
So it's smooth. So it's just smooth fights, and we don't have to worry about plot points. We don't have to worry about we have to do this.
We don't have to worry about
split up the action.
We don't have to worry about Zoro fighting the Shogun while Luffy fights Kaido.
Yeah. Like Zoro could fight another Calamity. Who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah, Zoro
gets all the fights.
And Saji can do something.
Yeah, exactly. We shouldn't... In the last half of the arc, with all the fights, we shouldn't be, like, being cut to parts that we don't
It's going to sound harsh, but we shouldn't be wasting time on other things other than Kaido and Luffy and the surrounding units. Because, like, I like the idea of taking out a Calamity early, so that gets rid of one. Jack might not be there, so that gets rid of another one. That leaves one more left for the final war. Yeah. Which, Zoro and Sanji take on. He's like the Katakuri figure.
Marineford is the perfect example of this.
Yeah.
Right? There's only one plot point. Free Ace.
Yes.
And that's everyone's goal. So everyone's goal in the war is going to be defeating Kaido. Which means constant fights. We don't have time for infiltration and all that kind of stuff.
That happens in the first 50.
That has to happen in the first 60 to 70. And then the rest can be just fights.
When we... Us planning this out like this, in my mind, cuts the arc length in half.
Yeah, because it doesn't interfere.
Because we're not going bang bang.
We're not going back and forth, switching locations, switching the pace.
We get one section out of the way first, 60, 50 chapters, whatever it is, and then defeating Kaido can be significantly shorter.
Yeah,
can be 40 chapters, can be 50 chapters.
We've already done the whole plot.
And that leaves us at around chapter 1000.
Yeah. Alright.
I think that's
a good way to structure it.
That's a good structure. Not convinced
it'll go that way.
Because, people are saying, we promised an Ace flashback. Where does it happen? Does someone that sees Luffy's like your Ace's brother? He's always talking about you. We get an Ace flashback.
Here's the thing: when Big Mom turns up is important.
And we didn't even mention Big Mom. What's the situation?
Big Mom has to turn up when the war kicks off.
Yes, after the first 50.
After
Big Mom turns up, Marco turns up, Jinbei turns up, reinforcements.
New characters, new situations to keep the story interesting, right? Yeah. You want to add those extra characters in to the second half of the arc. New players. So you're not dealing with the same characters all the time.
This Big Mom situation.
Yeah.
And the Admiral situation.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the Admirals.
It doesn't necessarily have to extend the length of the arc. Because they could pick a side.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be its own separate plot point. When we get four stage war with 4 different factions, it starts getting messy.
Yeah, and if you're gonna add plot points on top of that aren't the war, it gets even messier.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good way to structure it if Oda wants to do that.
What do you think? I'm confused and befuddled about this Big Mom situation. What is the story?
Because she wants to work with Kaido, right? That's what she wants.
Well, she's saying, I'm coming there to get Luffy, and he's making the threat.
And she's like, let's work together like old times.
Yes.
So, what does that mean? She wants to work with Kaido. Kaido wants nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where it's going to fall. Maybe the cake situation comes into play. Maybe Luffy gets allies within the Big Mom family.
It's the Hokage just happened. I don't think it's gonna happen that quickly.
But when else is it gonna happen?
I don't know. That's why I'm confused.
We know Big Mom's not turning up at Albath now because she's turning up here.
Yeah.
Big Mom can't turn up in 3 arcs. Like, come on.
She's a very important character, though.
She is. I don't doubt that. But back-to-back arcs with Big Mom. I think the cake thing
comes into play.
The pudding thing comes into play. She somehow comes to the realization that Sanji made the cake and that the Straw Hats can be trusted and that they're allies. We finally get the ally thing. Or
Kaido does something so bad to Big Mom.
Yeah. Like
kills one of her children.
Yeah.
Like kills Perospero. That she's like, fine, Luffy, let's fuck Kaido up. But she wouldn't even want Luffy to get involved. That's the thing.
I know, that's not her character.
She wouldn't want Luffy to get involved. She'd want to fight Kaido one-on-one.
I bet it's gonna be like...
It's hard to predict those points.
I bet they're gonna come up with a deal because and she's gonna be like, I bet this is the deal. She's gonna be like, alright. Alright, I'll help you defeat Kaido if Sanji will cook me another meal. That's what it's gonna be. Because she has never experienced that kind of flavor before.
It's an interesting concept, however. It's like...
Big Mom motivations can be very simple.
Yeah, they can... I'm just trying to work out the mechanics of the fight. Because
if we get Big Mom involved...
The Emperors should be equal.
If we get Big Mom involved in this, how is Kaido winning?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
How's Kaido winning with Big Mom and the entire Luffy alliance against him? Very difficult.
Yeah.
Proposition.
Very difficult.
See, Christian, just before this, we mentioned Big Mom and the Admirals. We had this arc wrapped up in a nice little bow. Now complications begin with fitting Big Mom and maybe the Navy into it.
Is it a Thriller Bark situation? Where Big Mom turns up at the end.
At the end and fucks the Straw Hats up.
And is like, I'm going to take Straw Hat's head. And then Sanji's like, no. And then she's like, I'm going to take your lifespan. And Sanji does the sacrifice Zoro did. To show that he is 100% dedicated to the Monkey D.
I feel like Oda's promised a Big Mom Kaido confrontation.
It could be a confrontation.
I feel like he's kind of like promised Big Mom Kaido at Wano. She could turn up at any time. It doesn't have to be in the fight.
If she turns up as a situation,
as a spectacle, I want to see it. As a mechanical storytelling device,
it muddies the water.
It muddies the water and makes things very complicated to pull off correctly.
I think if she turns up as a Kuma situation, as an enemy they cannot defeat because they're all fucked up after the battle.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck are we going to do? She's like, give me Straw Hat's head. And the crew's like, no. Sanji sacrifice. And then we finally get...
Well, he won't have any fear, so the life won't be taken.
Yeah, but does that satisfy Big Mom?
No, she'll just attack him.
You can give your life willingly. We have seen that. You don't have to necessarily fear her. You can...
I'll give my life for the captain.
Yeah.
But how many years is she going to take off? It's going to be ridiculous. I'm mad, Christian. It's going to be like 300 years. The crimes are too big.
Sanji.
The penalties are too big.
Maybe she takes life of the thing because they gave her the cake.
Is this where Jinbei kills himself for Luffy?
If she finds out that Sanji baked the cake, maybe she reduces the
Marco's
sentence.
like, I'll do it. She takes 10,000 years. Marco's immortal, irrelevant.
No, it has to have consequences. No relevant bullshit.
Okay.
Phoenix bullshit. It's gonna be, give me Straw Hat's life, 10,000 year sentence. Pudding's gonna be like, yeah, but they saved you from your craze. They saved Whole Cake Island.
He made the cake.
She'd be like, alright.
1,000 years.
50 years. Or some shit.
Does the roulette wheel come into play? Does she bring it?
Why? Just say whatever the fuck the ruling is. Right?
And Christian, talk to me about the Navy.
Navy, I think they turn up as like...
is it a Fujitora situation where he doesn't do anything, he just spectates Luffy?
I think they're a spectating role. I think Kizaru's going to turn up, he's going to be undercover.
Yep. And Sanji has a little clash instead of Zoro having a clash.
I reckon they're going to bump into him in some sort of comedy situation, and he's at like some gambling house.
Yep.
And we're like, Kizaru, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. He'd be like, I'm undercover.
Unless the Navy fight Big Mom on Wano.
Because I think Akainu needs to know what the fuck's going on. He needs a guy there.
Yeah.
So he has to send someone. I think Kizaru could have a lot of comedy. It would kind of make sense for his character for him not to get involved.
For some reason, I feel like Kizaru's from Wano. It just gives me... Because
he's based off a Japanese
Even
actor.
so, it's just like relax and like, oh, whatever.
His name's Borsalino, so...
It's true.
He doesn't have a Japanese name. So, I think Kizaru's turning up. It kind of makes sense for Kizaru's character not to get involved.
Do we get...
Because he doesn't give a fuck.
Do we get Navy respect this arc in regards to Kizaru, Grimble, fight Big Mom, and that gets rid of her situation so Luffy can fight Kaido in that way?
I think the Navy turns up just to...
I'm trying to solve the Big Mom situation.
They need to...
I'm trying to get the spectacle of Big Mom fighting, and I'm trying to get the problems of her being there out of the way.
The world needs to know that Luffy defeated Kaido. And if the Navy has to be there for that reason... So if Kizaru's there just chilling, watching the battle, commentating on it, with the Kizaru comedy that we all love, I think that could be interesting.
Light kicks a few people.
That get close to him. Maybe he gives Luffy a hand just because he's uncertain justice.
And we're suggesting that Big Mom is the Kuma situation.
Yeah,
ruins the spectacle for us, but Luffy fighting Kaido is spectacle.
That's enough spectacle, right? How much...
We get emperors fighting emperors at the end of the series.
Alright, what are moving on, the themes.
I think it's pretty straightforward this time, man.
Freeing the people from the oppression.
Do we get themes of leaving tradition to move into the new age?
I think we get something like that. Something about progress.
Or how maybe he goes the opposite direction of how progress ruins traditions.
He might explore that. He might explore the whole situation.
I can see that happening. I don't see like...
But that stuff only fits within the first part of the arc.
Yeah.
You don't have those weird themes at the end. Like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, I think that's pretty straightforward for the themes. You know, the oppression of the people, tradition versus progress, that kind of thing. Our fights. Of course.
Christian.
We came to Wano because we wanted fights. This is an arc. The premise of the arc is to fight Kaido.
This is how I see it going down.
There must be fights.
Zoro fights the Shogun.
Yep.
And then in the second half, which is speculating exists,
yep,
Zoro and Sanji fight a calamity together.
Is that enough hype to put them on Luffy's level?
They're not on Luffy's level, and they can't be on Luffy's level. People have to know. Unless it's a Luffy Zoro Sanji take on Kaido. Thoughts?
Zoro and Sanji team up to fight a calamity.
Yes.
I think people will be disappointed with that, man. They want to see
Sanji 101.
Sanji 101.
They want to see two Zoro fights. They're getting greedy. I think they want two Zoro fights.
Well, we have people like Law here that people want to see.
This is the thing that people need to know, right? Zoro and Sanji are not close to Luffy. They're not. What I mean by close is like Zoro and Sanji not even touching Katakuri.
Alright.
You know, they would not win that fight in any circumstance, okay? Cracker, no.
I think Zoro would have an easy time with Cracker. Because of the cutting.
Because of the slicing. In general.
Just in general. It could be a situation where...
Unless, like, this is the thing with the power. Luffy gets a jump, so they got to be up there, but...
Exactly.
At the end of the day, Luffy's going to be the Pirate King, and they're going to be the commanders. The gap will be enormous.
At the end of the day, it will be. But I want to see hype. Right? I don't want to see it.
You're going to see real good hype from Zoro when he fights that Shogun. Now, is that enough for the people, Christian?
Maybe the concession is Zoro is heavily injured.
Zoro is wounded. He can't take the calamity by himself.
So Sanji steps in
to help him out.
But here's the thing: Sanji has the raid suit in his pocket.
Zoro's fighting the calamity. He gets knocked out because he's gravely injured via
And
the
then Sanji
Shogun
steps
fight.
in.
Sanji steps in, defeats a Calamity.
And maybe we get a heart-to-heart moment with
Zoro
Sanji
and
and Zoro being like, yeah.
We're gonna do this for Luffy. This is about Luffy.
No, it's gonna be like, yeah, he's a dickhead.
No, they're gonna
he's my brother.
I hope they connect via the captain.
No, I want them to connect as characters.
But they're already connected. It's a brother relationship.
Yeah, but I want that heart. I want that heart moment. Okay. Where it's just like, I hate it. He's a dickhead, but he's my brother.
Zoro's about to die. He has to use the raid suit for Zoro instead of Luffy. Zoro's gonna die.
I would like that.
His new family, his new brother, Zoro.
Comes in there to save Zoro. I like that. I do. Yeah.
So hopefully we laid out the situation for you.
So Zoro does a bit of damage.
We have the basic structure in our mind set up. Now Oda could do whatever the fuck he wants. We're just speculating here.
That's true.
But the Big Mom and Navy thing will develop as a thought as we go along. I think the structure that we set up is pretty sound.
I think that's a sound structure to make sure this arc flows properly.
Yes.
What else do we want to talk about? The other Straw Hats. Does Usopp have a sniper battle with someone?
Usopp does some cool sniping things. He does not get a fight.
Yeah,
unless there's a bird character that's in the air. He's helping Marco fight him with sniping shit. I can see that happening.
All Usopp has to do is do like a whole chapter of him trying to snipe something and do like a crazy trick shot.
Yeah.
We don't need to see him have a fight. Like,
we don't need him to pull out the Usopp hammer.
Yeah, like he's fights with gags and are people gonna really like that in Wano? Yeah. Brook. Chopper, Nami. Frankie.
Nami needs to display her abilities that she just got.
She's just gonna power up. We need to see it.
Robin, we hope and we pray
that she gets a fight.
She might get a. I'd be happy with the lesser of the Straw Hats getting their moments in the first 50 chapters of what we talked about.
And then they're for the cleanup.
And then they're just dealing with the army and shit.
Like Sheep's Head and like all those fucking...
Yeah, they're just not even in the story for like 50 chapters. They're in the background.
Just clearing goons and photo and shit.
So we got our Robin fight while Zoro fights the Shogun, etc.
Yeah, that way we could split up the fight, split up the arc,
keep the pace going.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
Christian, is that all?
That is all.
Rampant speculation will happen again.
I'm sure it will.
But,
alright.
The question corner.
Over to the question corner.
Here we are.
From Return the Slab.
Yes.
Question. If you could pass one new law that the world government had to enforce, what would it be?
I would like a policy of chasing heads actively.
Okay, well... Alright.
Instead of like... We're gonna go after Luffy, but we're not really. Alright. I want a legitimate bounty system where bounty hunters actually go after... I want to see strong bounty hunters do their shit.
Strong bounty hunters.
The Navy are just kind of like... there. Go after Luffy. Make a legitimate effort to go after the big people.
So like a policy that's an attack force of strong pirates.
A policy that's like, it's G7.
Go after these cunts.
Their specific role is to assassinate
and hunt down pirates. Alright.
Now, Christian, I'm sure, is going to go into deep political themes. Here we go.
For me, for the world government to run better, for the world government to actually be competent, alright?
Which they are, yes.
We need more suppressive laws, right? We need to actually own a newspaper instead of Morgan's, right?
You want propaganda? What else? Propaganda machine going on. You want a military draft? Is that what you want?
Military drafts. You want
an iron fist over the world.
Iron fist over the world, because government right now is kind of a bit lazy.
Loosey-goosey.
Bit lazy, right?
Every man
must be in the Navy to uphold the Navy rule. Maybe
Well,
forced military duty.
Yeah.
2 years of military service. Like countries in the actual world do.
Yeah.
Ingrains patriotism into the people. So they are already in the system of the world government. That's what I want to see.
Next question.
Next question from M. Baza. Are we going to talk about the lady in the fox mask that plays the Shimasei? You know, is she actually part of the scene?
Now, Christian, did we forget to mention this last week via the Kingu shenanigans?
Correct.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, she's not actually there. She's a narrative device. Christian's debating it.
She could be a real character, but she's in a different location, and we cut over to her.
Yes.
For the narrative device, but she could be a real character.
She's setting the scene. She's doing all that shit.
Yeah.
She's not a Calamity. She's not Kowena. Any other random character you want to throw in there. Next question.
Alright. From Vimish. What is the point of Kowena and Zoro's flashback? Oda introduced a feminist concept that didn't go anywhere because of her death. Also, I saw Eric draw Kowena and Wano. Do you think she will return?
Is Kowena
we
alive?
We have discussed Kowena and the point of Kowena a lot of times because of Tashigi. Tashigi upholds Kowena's dream. Or the Mesa Queen. But Oda didn't do anything with it. It's so weird.
I'm convinced it's just to portray Zoro's character.
Kowena's character is not a feminist idea. Oda's saying women get weaker than men
over time,
which is a reality.
But Zoro disagrees.
But it's not a feminist idea.
Zoro disagrees. It's more for Zoro than anything. I don't think it's an overarching point that Oda wants to bring up. I think it's a Zoro moment. Even when he runs into Shishigi, he says, I'm not disrespecting you or whatever because you're a woman. I'm disrespecting you because you're weak.
But she
important distinction.
Doesn't get stronger and she trains and she's still a woman and she's shit.
Yes, but that's why Zoro doesn't like her.
But what is Oda...
Christian,
we've discussed it to death. What is Oda doing?
Is Kowena alive? No, she's dead.
Hot take.
Okay, there it is.
Alright. And I think that's it for the week.
Christian, interesting week. We're getting into we're cooling off after the Reverie. We're getting into basic structure, toning down the pace.
The
still
Pirate
going quick.
King is back in the story.
Still going at good pacing.
Yeah.
We're getting interesting details about Wano that if you aren't paying attention, you'll miss. So pay attention.
Yep.
Read the official translation.
Do that.
Enjoy the art.
Yes. Art's very good.
Christian, social media, whatever.
I'm alright.
C_Talato. If you want to talk to him about the Palace Girl, do as you wish.
Yep.
You can find me at Eric Talato on Twitter.com. You can email the show at TheRedforcePodcast at gmail.com. You can listen to this show, this product, this content on SoundCloud.
It's not a product, right? Okay. It's not a product.
On SoundCloud.
Yeah, okay.
At The Red Force Podcast. People using it. More people coming on. I'm seeing higher usage, which is good.
High usage.
Higher.
Okay.
Comment on the comment section below. Use the section so we can answer your questions. Getting a bit light in the last few weeks.
Any question you want.
One week we had like 12 questions. This week what? 3, 4?
Because the chapters like...
Yeah, people can't see what's going on. But we got you covered, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Like the video, share the video, subscribe if you got this far.
You probably
I mean, if you got this far, I hope you subscribed.
Yeah, like what else do we have to do?
Podcast every week. Streams maybe.
No stream last week. Couldn't be bothered. Nothing to talk about. Plenty to talk about last week.
I mean, if you wanted to do it, you could have done it.
I mean, alright.
So yeah.
You know, Shanks is the God King.
Good night. Test 1 2 1 2. Test test test. Test test test. Test. Test test test. 1 1 1. 1 1 1 1. Interesting. Test test. Test test.